Yo, it's a beautiful Thursday, and whenever you see this video, just know it's a beautiful day, right? People just can't have a beautiful day. What is the internet in an uproar about today? The opinion of hip-hop legend Lil Xan. Apparently Lil Xan isn't the biggest Tupac fan, and there's been a massive reaction from people like Waka Flocka, a cosign from T.I., hip-hop fans in general, and of course people who are fans of Tupac. So the first thing I wanted to start off with is what the expectation of a 21-year-old rapper is, and if that argument that you shouldn't expect anything from them is justifiable. Now, me personally, I don't think age is really a determining factor in how much hip-hop you know. I was just in a barbershop and I'm talking to a dude that's 60 years old that who's never really listened to Tupac music. Dude's almost 60. Okay, he happens to be black. I know that's not the norm, I know that's not like the common demographic, but it happens, right? So my expectation is pretty much the same for everyone, regardless of if Lil Xan was 30 or 20 or 15. It wouldn't matter. If he knew Tupac, I wouldn't be surprised. If he didn't know Tupac, I wouldn't be surprised. I just think it's a pointless kind of thing for people to say, oh, well, he's 21. What do you expect from him? Why would he like Tupac music? Like, I'm 22 and I grew up, listening to Nas and Tupac. Those are my favorite hip hop artists. So first things first, what relevance does Tupac's music serve in today's music demographic, in today's society? Like, who does it benefit? Does it benefit Lil Xan to know who Tupac is? No, it doesn't. You can tell by the way he answered the questions that yes, we acknowledge Tupac was a legend. We acknowledge Tupac was top dog, head honcho. But at the same time, career benefit wise, what does it do for Lil Xan to speak on, acknowledge, or even big up Tupac? Because not only did Lil Xan, allude to Tupac doing nothing for him coming up or having zero impact in his life, but impact wise for his career, it doesn't make sense or benefit him to be in heavy praise of Tupac. That's just a fact. And you look at other artists like that. You look at people like Lil Yachty. You look at people like Lil Uzi. You look at people like Trippie Redd, who've acknowledged who their influences are and who've acknowledged, their favorite rappers. And while they could definitely have those rappers as favorites, they've all mentioned people who are more recent, like Lil Wayne, like Drake. But a common theme amongst these younger rappers is the fact that these rappers are actually still alive. That means that they could still serve some kind of benefit to them in the future. You know how crazy it would be for Lil Uzi to get a Lil Wayne feature or a Kanye West feature? I mean, Lil Uzi is the combination of Lil Wayne and Kanye West. Of course he respects them. They're both still alive. They can both still benefit him. Just like Drake could be of benefit to Trippie Redd or Lil Xan. That's not taking away their preferences either. I mean, these dudes could just genuinely like these artists as opposed to Tupac. But strategically, they're not gonna answer a question about Jay-Z saying that, because Jay-Z not only could benefit some of these younger artists in the future, but Jay-Z's still alive. Nas is still alive. When do you hear these younger rappers dissing these artists who are still here and living? Not only that, but when you hear an XXXTentacion or a Lil Yachty or a Lil Xan, do you even hear any Tupac influence? Do you hear any oldies influence like you would from someone like a Kendrick or like a Joey Badass, or take a Born Sinner J. Cole or a Logic? When you hear these artists, regardless if you like them or not, you hear the history of rap within their voice and within their music. I've never heard anyone other than Kanye West and Lil Wayne from these newer rappers who are arising. In 2018, it's not beneficial for Lil Xan to know anything about Tupac. It's just not. It doesn't do anything for Lil Xan or his career for him to respect Tupac any more than he does or doesn't. Because I know you guys know I love this word, demographic. He doesn't pander to the hip-hop demographic in the first place. He panders to an audience who doesn't revere Tupac in any way. Lil Xan's trajectory won't be affected by his like or dislike to Tupac. The only reason we're talking about Lil Xan right now is because of his comments on someone who does not even affect his career. And of course, I'm speaking for the majority. I know there's a minority. There's a couple people, a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand people out there who may dislike what Lil Xan said enough to stop listening to his music after his comments. But for the most part, Come on, be honest with yourself. You think his whole fan base is going to turn away from him because of what he said? Because if a successful rap career was based off of how much knowledge of Tupac or Biggie or Nas or Rakim you had, half of the rappers we know in the Billboard Top 100 wouldn't even be there. It's not old heads or hip hop heads that's getting a Post Malone or getting a Lil Uzi Vert to the top of the charts. It's the fan base that they cater to. So at the end of the day, regardless of whatever Post Malone's comments were about hip hop, he's still thriving on the Billboard because his music doesn't pander to an audience that reveres hip hop like that. It doesn't. If it did, he'd be out of here. There's nothing that the community of old heads or the community of people who hold hip hop or Tupac to this high standard could do to a Lil Xan to affect his career in any way. There's nothing they could do. Waka can say Lil Xan's canceled from hip hop. He's out of here. That's not gonna do anything to Lil Xan's career. Neither is T.I.'s cosign. Now, do I think Lil Xan's comments on Tupac's music being boring and him literally limiting Tupac's impact down to the number 2, do I think that was disrespectful? Of course I do. Me being a fan of Tupac, why wouldn't I think that was disrespectful? But I'm not putting my money into Lil Xan, just like I don't put my money into Lil Yachty, just like I don't put my money into certain artists. So if I'm not willing to invest my money into these artists, do you really think I hold their opinion that highly? I don't care what Lil Xan has to say about Tupac, okay? If you're dismissing Tupac's impact, your opinion doesn't mean anything to me. You're entitled to it, it just doesn't mean anything to me. To give you another point of reference, I could easily say Lonzo Ball and the future basketball stars that come out will have less and less respect for an NBA player like Michael Jordan, because soon he won't serve any benefit in their career. But who will serve benefit in their career? Maybe acknowledging a Stephen Curry, maybe acknowledging a Kyrie Irving, maybe acknowledging a LeBron James. 100 years from now, someone could say the exact same thing about Kendrick Lamar, and people would have to accept it because it would be relevant for that time period. Nobody would be upset because Kendrick's music wouldn't be a driving force anymore. It'd be some new guy, it'd be some new rap. So while we can sit here and try to act like we respect these artists so much and act like their music is a doctrine or it's a mantra, we can sit here and act like that all day. We gotta acknowledge that they're not relevant anymore. They're not doing anything for hip hop anymore. I'm sorry. It's the truth. They're no longer the determining factor in who makes it or who doesn't. And last point for this video is to end it off with the people's reaction to this. The people who are saying, oh, it's just his opinion. Why are people upset? I don't understand how anyone could be upset. This dude, he's just saying his opinion. He's just saying that he doesn't like Tupac's music. For one, the way he said it can be interpreted however many ways you want to interpret it. But the first thing is, Lil Xan, when he said what he said, I might not share that same passion that those other Tupac fans did. I know Tupac impacted me with some of his lyrics because not only could I relate to some of it, but it bumped in the whip. Lil Xan's comments completely dismiss Tupac's impact, right? It's not just Lil Xan having a preference or saying that I just wasn't a fan of Tupac's music. If the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear Tupac is too and boring music, you're dismissing the impact of this artist. That's like asking me, what do you think of when you hear Michael Jackson? The first thing that comes out of my mouth wouldn't be something as disrespectful as his child allegations, because you're purposely dismissing this artist's impact. You could not know Tupac's music as much as you want. If you have any tact, even if you don't know of an artist, you don't speak on them in that way because you need the information to say something as bold as boring music if you're not a fan or if you're not invested into their music. You're not as passionate about Tupac as some of these other hip hop heads are. So of course you wouldn't be upset. Of course you wouldn't see a problem with Lil Xan's comments and take them just as his preference because you don't view it as anything more than that. But to a lot of people, it means something more than that. Not for myself, but I know a lot of people that would be upset with that. It's not up to you to try to censor how people react or respond to someone's lack of, I guess you could say, tact when it comes to responding to the discography or the impact of a deceased rapper. It's not up to you to determine how they respond to it. You shouldn't be online posting about people are overreacting to Lil Xan's comments. That's not for you to say. Sure, that's your opinion. That's an opinion. But just like I don't take Lil Xan's comments on Tupac seriously, I wouldn't take the opinion of someone who says, oh, why are these people overreacting? I wouldn't take that seriously either, all right? But that's just me. Hop in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say on this. And do you think it's relevant? Do you think Lil Xan's gonna suffer? Probably not. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you next time, and I'm out. Shawn C. Peace.